Right, since you said that, it was not in my slides, so I'll answer this one first. Basically, yeah, there is something about it, so we'll get to it. But basically, to rest assured for everybody with the original deep cycle, there are still very good programs, and the good programs, they don't stop being good because there is a new program coming. So the original deep cycle is an excellent program, and I'm lucky to have made it, because very often I meet therapists around the world who use deep cycle in the daily practice with big timer machines, and they thank me for this. So I'm happy to do this. The deep cycle harmonics is a further development and includes specific frequency lists I accumulated over many years. And it's a little bit more comprehensive, a little bit more precise, and there's a little bit change in how we do it. And I will explain it to you. So as you see, there's a reason for calling it deep cycle and cycle, because everything goes in cycles. That's nature. So it's a good thing to be able to support the body's process in the cycle or the phase we're in. And this goes for the day. You wake up in the morning, you start producing more testosterone, you start producing more cortisol, and your heart rate increases and so on to make you ready for the day. And this changes through the day, of course. And different organs are more active in a different part of the day. And the Chinese philosophy knew this for centuries. And it's a scientific fact, this is correct as well. And the cycles are even present in the stars in the universe. So you see, this is what we call holographic. The small part represents the whole, because every little part of our existence has this cycle. So the only thing is for sure that there will be change. We will move through cycles and periods, and it's only natural that we die. So don't be afraid to die, because that's part of the cycle of nature. Don't be afraid to be old, because that's a good period. You can be more wise and do other things. So all these cycles have beautiful features and possibilities. We should investigate them and try to support them as best as possible. Yeah, and we mentioned about the menstrual cycle, and that's maybe a little bit for females. If you have very strong bleedings during menstruation, you should probably not run the frequencies just then. At least very low current, very low intensity in the hands. Don't connect it to the feet, don't connect it to the stomach, simply because it will increase the blood circulation. In some very, very, very few cases, increased blood circulation is not a good thing, especially if you have a bleeding problem. But besides this, there is no reason not to do it, and you can support it. So typically, some women, they don't feel too well about the week before the menstruation. But this would be a good period to run the program Pure Calm, just to help you relax, just to help to balance your hormones. And the same thing is with, I don't know if you have had a feeling that you feel especially alert in the full moon. So when you're especially alert in the full moon, it's good time for activity. So maybe you want to run programs that supports this. So
sorry, Jan, is your slides moving? Because we're still stuck on the first page.
Okay, I'm moving the slides, but I don't know why it's not moving. Maybe I should stop share and try again. Sorry for this.
Let's try again.
Okay. Do you see the new slide now?
Yes, I see the cycles.
Yeah.
Cardiac cycle.
Okay. And now you see the
voltage.
Next slide. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Yeah. So we talked about this already. The key here is to understand how we can support this fact. Correct voltage is needed for the body to repair and build cells. And we made 12 programs to support your cycles. And why do I use the word deep? Well, actually, the programs go very deep. It affects a lot of levels of your being. I'm not supposed to use too many practical words or medical words, but let's say, since you understand your emotions are electromagnetic, we touch them. And we touch the organ systems related to them. And so you can say we work on the holistic cause level. The deep cycle programs, it's not programmed for symptoms. People are occupied with symptoms, but we are occupied with the holistic whole, trying to generate the balance and supporting the whole system on all levels via the electromagnetic waves. Yeah, the deep cycle history. Well, the thing is that before late 1800, people started experimenting with electromagnetic devices. And there were some brilliant people, including Tesla, and Dr. Royal Rife, who found a universal microscope, who used frequencies in different ways to treat people, and they had great success. And the Dr. Royal Rife, his frequencies does exist in the lower harmonics, and I'll explain the harmonics in Healy database. So at least we think so, because he was dead before we were able to ask him. But what is found from his research, his frequencies are to some extent known, and we can use the harmonics of the high frequencies because he used extremely high frequencies in his work. He also had he found the first microscope in the world, universal microscope, that was able to see cells live and see what was going on in the cells without destroying them. So when he was putting out his frequencies from his plasma tube, he could see what happened to them. And actually, every professor in medicine in the world wanted to be his friend. And until the day in early 30s, 1930s, where the pharmaceutical industry, or actually the oil industry, Rockefeller Group and all these guys, they found out that medicine should be something they made out of oil, and they should make a lot of money on it. And so that's a long story. But anyway, the pharmaceutical paradigm was then established as the only legal medicine. A lot of these therapies were forgotten, and now they're coming back in big time. And you are one of them using it in Healy. We also have this guy called Lakowski to the left-hand corner, and he made his big coils that sent out a bunch of frequencies, and he found out that if he sent out a bunch of frequencies, some of them would resonate with the body and transfer energy. So he was charging the energy of the body. And you see above my name a picture of Nuno, if you know him, Nuno Nina. And I mention him because in my journey, in my search to understand how things were connected, I discovered when I was in the 40s, I'm 62 now, that electromagnetism, electricity, governed our reality. It was the best way to understand our body and our nature around us. And I was in a seminar in Holland in 2008, I remember. And there came up this guy called Nuno Nina, and he was talking about that he was also working with some frequencies and he had experience with it. And I really immediately felt that, wow, this is my guy, you know, he is talking about the things which have been in my mind forever. And so making a long story short, I met him in the corridor after a lecture, and he was looking down at me and looking at my liver. And I said, yeah, I have some pain there. And I thought, wow, he's kind of intuitive guy. So he learned to use intuition, like I'm trying to learn you now with a little test, remember? And then at the later stage, I was coming up to him and we were talking, and he said, before I was finishing my words, he said, yes, of course I will help you. And he helped me to establish my clinic in Oslo. And during the years, we become friends and we exchanged a lot of information, and I learned a lot about frequencies and the way he was treating. From him, which I could integrate in my therapies and the way I work. So, so that's why I think it's an important part of the history of Deep Cycle is to mention Uno, my dear friend. Deep Cycle harmonics, yeah. So we know about a lot of frequencies which has been tested and scientifically proven and gathered through the years. And since I'm a nerd for electromagnetic waves and frequencies, I read tons of research, I promise you. And this accumulated a list of frequencies which has very interesting effects and is, let's say, connecting us to nature, connecting us to the surroundings, and harmonizing our internal body. So my idea with the Deep Cycle harmonics, the new version, was I wanted to include this type of frequencies for everybody, because everybody needs food, everybody needs water. Let's say everybody needs these type of frequencies to be in harmony and connect with themselves and the surroundings. And when I say harmonics, it's very simple. As you can see in the picture, there is, if you take a tone, ba, 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 that's octaves, that's harmonics. It's the same basic, but at different frequency, you understand? So this is a way of delivering the information in similar ways. So there are harmonics or frequencies that are outside of the spectrum of the Healy, because Healy works from 0 hertz to 1 million hertz, 0 vibrations per second to 1 million vibrations per second. So if I found a very interesting frequency in 9 gigahertz, I would need to put it down in a harmonics which exists within Healy. So that's, maybe you have a question about it, you can answer about it, that's okay. Okay, so yeah, the Deep Cycle harmonics was primarily developed in 2021. The Deep Cycle 1 was developed or released 7 years before, and was a result of my experience with timer frequency therapies, which is the big brother of Healy, for 5 years. And I found out that the way to treat and the way to do it, also in very similar to how Uno was doing it, we talked a lot and worked together, was not so easy to learn for a therapist. So I wanted to make programs that imitated the way we worked in the clinic. So when you run Deep Cycle on your Healy, you're actually running a program that is very similar to what I would do in the clinic if I was treating a specific organ system, electric system. And yeah, it's also worth saying that I pushed the Healy to its limits. So the program challenges Healy to what it really can do and cannot do. And one feature which is in there makes the Healy go banana, because I wanted to make a random, completely random choice for a small time, because you are all influencing the Healy. You're all influencing the frequency. You have to understand this, because you emit frequency all the time. So if I hold this here to me and I emit the frequency, if you have a meter and you measure and look at the wave, you would see that this thing here influences it. So let's say you have the Healy here and you are focused on the Healy and you are in a special mood, you will influence the results of the Healy and you will influence the frequency of the Healy. That's just a fact. And that's why some therapists using this type of technology have more success than others. Because some people think of just hit the button and run some frequencies and that's it. But if the therapist has an intention to heal, to help, and is focused on the job, the frequencies are a little bit modulated, a little bit different, and more effective. So when you treat yourself, don't put the electrodes on your back, Healy in your pocket, and then go about doing your stressful life and thinking it's going to work very well. It maybe work a little bit. Of course, it works a little bit, but it works a lot better if you say to yourself, I'm going to give myself a treat. I'm going to treat me. I'm going to do something good. If you run the program Kidney All, male or female, say, I want to treat my kidneys and my emotions in the kidneys, and I'm giving myself a break. And if you do that, the effects of the treatment will be greatly increased. That's just a fact, and many people are not aware of it. Okay, so we have about 12 programs, and and the program Sensitive, I think it's worthwhile mentioning, because many people, they have been asking me, where is program number 1, 2, and 3 from Deep Cycle 1? So I don't see the need anymore for program 1, 2, and 3, because the Sensitive has been constructed this way that it fits for everybody. And the Sensitive also takes away the feeling some people had that you cannot start with a deep cycle because it's too powerful. You have to start with gold cycle because it's a little bit less comprehensive. I never said this. So many people tell people that I say this and that, but that's not true. I never said that. Of course, you can start with deep cycle, that's no problem. Gold cycle is also fine. But, but if you are a sensitive person, you're not sure how you're going to react, it's the first treatments, or you have some allergies, or you have a very bad day, run Sensitive, because Sensitive is sensitive. It's going to help you get adjusted to the frequencies. And also it's good if you have chemical sensitivity, electro sensitivity, allergy, and similar. And also, it's a good thing to run Sensitive once in a while, when you feel sensitive. That's the thing with Sensitive. Okay, so we're into kidney oil. And of course, you have to understand that I'm not going to talk about diagnosis or things like this, but the kidneys are connected with the rest of the body. And from the meridian system, the channels through the body, which has been discussed for years, but is now a scientific fact, there are channels in the body, they conduct electricity, and many of them are very close to the original Chinese meridians. So the kidneys are an electric system connected down to your feet and up in the body, moving through the front teeth. So if you have a problem with the front teeth, you steal energy from your kidneys. But any issue with anxiety, fear, stress, and any challenges in the area of the kidneys, the uterus, the prostate, the bladder, sexuality, it's a good thing to run the kidneys. Another thing with the kidney, it's one part of the important pH buffer system of the body. So the body needs to find a balance in the pH, in the acid and the alkaline balance. This is done primarily between the kidneys and the lungs. You have 2 kidneys and you have 2 lungs. And you can imagine why, because they are totally critical for your body. So if your lungs and kidneys are doing a good job and you're having enough good water, they will take out the toxins, release the acids, and leave you with a good potential and correct pH balance, thus a good electric potential of the cells. Clean oil lies in the name. Now it's called, it's still called clean oil. Most of us need clean oil from time to time. And especially as a part of a cycle in the beginning, when you're getting used to it, you need to get into clean oil because it supports all the detoxification organs. And if you can get rid of the toxins, the plus, the oxidatives, you are left with surplus of energy and you're feeling well, and the cell can work at the optimal level. So clean oil comes after normally a kidney oil, breath of life, a period, clean oil. And for very many people, digest oil will be in a part of a cycle, and I'll explain more later. So here we come with the digest oil. Digest oil includes digesting, accepting your emotions and your worries, because these emotions and worries are often stuck in your stomach area. And I have a son, he's 22 years old now, so he's not the same anymore, but I remember very well when he was small. Every time he was excited to do something, he got a diarrhea. And And if he was very happy, he got a diarrhea. If he was very sad, he got a diarrhea, because the emotions are so influencing your digestive system. And most of us, we have a problem to find good food, which are not processed, ultra processed, and contains normal bacteria and is clean. And because of stress, we often don't digest the food, because remember, when your body is in stress, the energy goes to the muscles, the heart, and the brain to fight an animal or to fight some scary thing. Maybe it's not the realistic thing, but that's what the body thinks. So this is one of the reasons we need to support the digestive system. And of course, we need to break down the nutrition that comes into the digestive system so the body can use it to build and regenerate new cells. Breath of life is the other way. Remember, the other part of the pH buffer system of the body that pulls out acids and carbon dioxide. So breathing out helps regulate the pH of the body. So if you breathe very fast, you will make the body alkaline. If you breathe very slow, you will produce more carbon dioxide. But again, this will make the blood vessels expand. So an interesting tips I learned from Russian researchers is that if you think you're going to have a cardiac arrest, a heart attack, infarct, you know what you can do? Keep your breath. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, till your head blows, breathe out. Because what happens? You change the pH of the blood, you expand the blood vessels, and the blood cells will take in the oxygen and distribute it out. And you will have much more oxygen in the heart tissue and the body in no time. This they knew very well in yoga practice. It's called yoga breathing. But you can use it, and it also helps with stress. So Breath of Life is one of the key programs which everybody needs, especially in the beginning of therapy. Free flow, it helps you circulate liquids, help stimulate the circulation of the body. Also helps stimulate the circulation of the electricity, and it's very good also for pain, because like I told you, if you have pain in the shoulder, there's something, if you don't have a serious injury, if somebody cuts off your arm, that you have pain, but if you have just pain in your shoulder and you don't know where it's coming from, it means the cells in the shoulders have too little electric potential. One of the reasons you have low potential is because you don't get the nutrition and oxygen. So if you can increase the flow and energy into them, the electric potential will increase and the pain will go away. So therefore, free flow can be very good for any condition with circulation issues and, of course, with pain. Pure Calm is a program we all need from time to time, and it's specifically effective when you are already okay. So people think, again, like symptomatic. So I'm very stressed, I must run Pure Calm. Well, the thing is to try to help you not to become very stressed. So you run Pure Calm to stay calm. Because you're very stressed, you maybe need to support your kidneys and detoxification system and digestive system so it works okay even if you're stressed, you see? This is a way of thinking. So Pure Calm is something you can use regularly to keep you calm. You can, of course, run it if you're stressed as well, but the best thing is to help you not become stressed so easily. Pure Calm will help you with that. And Pure Calm also influences, of course, the hormone systems which are related to stress. Here is a Pure Energy. Pure Energy is a program to help to regulate and increase the energy production of body. So it touches upon many fields of the body. It helps you relax because it's necessary to generate energy. It will support your adrenal system because you need adrenal hormones to have energy, and so forth. So it's not much to say about it. Besides, also, again, a good thing to use it regularly. You don't need to wait to be fatigued. You can use it when you feel good to keep producing enough energy. renewal originally was called natural healing. Because this is I don't think the name was legally too good, because it indicates that can heal something and we're not supposed to heal anything. But anyway, renewal helps the body to regenerate, build new cells, and we choose a lot of frequencies that are specifically to regenerate and repair tissue. It also has a lot of frequencies to support natural bacterial and viral balance. And it also has some new specific frequency lists for deep cycle harmonics, which is helping you balance any pathogens in the body. Yeah, and the good thing about, as you see, the microbiome, the bacteria of your body are everywhere. And to regulate them and balance them is important. And many people are not aware of this, but 90% of the cells in your body is not yours. Your cells are more heavy, but most of our cells are bacteria, virus, and so forth. Actually, most of our DNA comes from virus. So the way we are upgraded in nature is from getting virus, because virus gives us new information and then we adjust to the surroundings. So not having a virus is not a good idea. We need to have a virus, we need bacteria, we need to be getting natural bacteria and natural virus. Renewal helps you balance this. And then go to the roots. Healing, earlier called healing of causes, for those who remember the name. And here we are talking about the root causes. And this program is specifically good to run in periods where you have finished a physical cycle supporting your detoxification organs, the kidneys, and so forth, and you basically feel well. Then you can support to gain and continue to gain good emotional balance, because as I told you, your emotions are in the body. The emotions are in the organs, or emotions are stored everywhere. So root causes, go to the roots, is a way of supporting the foundation of your way of being, the foundations of your existence. It doesn't do anything you don't want. It cannot change your personality. It will just help you balance and feel more comfortable in your body. And because there are so many people now having chronic fatigue, I made the program Energy Work. It lasts for a couple of hours. It can last shorter on some, because the frequencies, when they run, every 10 seconds, they ask, do this person need this frequency more? Sometimes it goes faster. It's a good sign. In generally, people ask me, oh, I had this program. It said it was going to last for an hour. It stopped after 40 minutes. And my experience is that if the program is finished very early, it's because you don't probably need this program that much, and or you are improving, at least on the electromagnetic level. And normally after improving electromagnetically, you can feel it on the chemical and physical level later. Well, Energy Work is for people who needs to charge, and they run long programs. Most people, they can do good with one program a day or every second day. Some people with chronic fatigue syndrome, after they are adjusted to using the Healy or timer, they experience that the more they run the program, the better they feel. So I know one person very well, and she wears the device in the purse, and she puts electrodes top and bottom of her spine, and she runs the Energy Work, and she waits an hour, she runs the Energy Work, and she does it all day. She does it a couple of days, her energy is clearly higher, and she has less pain, feels better, so on. So Energy Work is a charging machine. For those of you who have used frequency quite a lot, not for the first time. That is too much. Thank you. And I think we're ready for questions.
Thank you so much, Jan, for covering in details all this deep cycle harmonics programs. Let me just look at some. We have collected some questions before the webinar, but also Stella is also collecting webinars for
Yeah.
from our
Well,
participants?
we can do the collected questions, and then it
Okay.
would be a little bit fun if we could take a few yes/no questions, and people can see how is their intuition working.
Yes. Okay. So the first question I have for you is the deep cycle harmonics programs, all 12 programs have been updated compared to the previous one?
Yes, and also, the frequency databases of timer frequency has also been updated during the years and corrected and so on. So that's correct.
So the deep cycle harmonics program, all programs are updated, and you can say that it's a new program.
Yes. They are made from scratch on the same principles, but on the original, let's say, spirit of the thinking behind the programs are the same. So Digest All from the first program, Digest All now will both support similar systems, but let's say the new is more comprehensive and more precise and has the additional frequencies.
Okay. And one interesting question is about the frequencies that you compiled for these programs. Are they coming from Rive frequency database, or are they from maybe Neuronina or other frequencies that you have collected? I don't know
You
if that's
mean the general frequencies
that you
program?
use in your programs. Are they? Is there
I
a
use
source?
I use in the deep cycle programs. I use we search both Rive and Uno gold frequencies and other frequencies. So
And other frequencies.
Yeah.
Okay. So before I ask you about how to run these programs, I would like to go into more details about a few of these programs, especially the energy work and the pure energy. You have explained a little bit about these two programs already, but for most people, when they first see the names, they're a little bit confused about which one to use, energy work or pure energy. And you have mentioned that energy work is not for people that is new to frequency therapy. So would you elaborate more regarding when to use pure energy or when to use energy work?
Yeah, pure energy is shorter. It's not that comprehensive. And of course, this means that the impact of the body, the stimulus to the body is less. So this is if you are looking for increased energy after you've done the basics, because you do have to do the basics to get good results with the other programs. You can try the pure energy, and if you find out that if you are a person that often has fatigue, often chronic fatigue, people with tendency of chronic fatigue, and you feel, if I run pure energy 2 times a day, or I feel good. Well, then you can start doing the energy work, and you can, because it runs longer, you don't have to turn on and off and so forth. Mm-hmm. So it's basically a little bit same, but just a little bit more powerful and lasting longer.
So the energy work is more powerful, and in our user manual, it suggests that we should use it in the morning. Is there a fixed rules that we cannot use it in the evening? Does it keep us awake, or?
No, well, me and fixed rules, I don't like them, because the reality is that what we want to achieve really is to help people understand themselves and know themselves and experience how they are. But some people are more awake after running the program, and therefore maybe should not do it just before bed. Mm-hmm. But that's people who really cannot sleep unless they are kind of hammered, So in the morning it doesn't really matter, but generally I would do it during the day as a charger.
As a charge, okay. And the next question is regarding Clean All and Digest All. You have mentioned that in order to keep a proper environment in our body for our cells to have healthy cells, we need to detox. We need to keep our waste products outside of our body. So would you be using the Clean All programs to support the detox system? And does the Clean All program would be able to help with, let's say, some toxic buildup or some parasites or anything like that regarding fungus or?
Yes and no. When it comes to the let's say the microflora, I would use the renewal. Because renewal helps balance the microflora and possible pathogens and so forth. So this is for it. The bacteria, when the body tries to eliminate them, if there is pathogenic bacteria you shouldn't have, they excrete toxins to defend themselves. Just as if you eat nuts and seeds from plants and you don't treat them, ferment them, or so on, they contain toxins. So, and that's the same with the bacteria and so on. If they think they have to defend themselves, they make toxins. The toxins coming out, we will help remove by stimulating the liver and the other detoxification systems.
Which is the clean out program.
Yeah, but I mean, when people come to my clinic and they want to tell me what program to run, I often make 4, 3, 2, 1 cycle.
3, 2,
1. And I will explain this a little bit
later. Okay. So when we talk about the toxic body, or talking about the, let's say, the negative reactions, we have possible reaction that we may have from using the programs. Let's say the healing crisis, because sometimes our body goes through cycles, like through the healing process, you might feel that your body is going downhill instead of going uphill. So when that happens, we revert back to the sensitive program. Do you suggest that?
Correct.
Okay, so the sensitive program is new for the deep cycle harmonics, and it replaces first application, second application, and the third application.
Yeah, it replaces it, but it's not the same. But it is sensitive, so it means that you can run it. And also, I mean, this about the general rules. If you have the period of intensive use of the device, give yourself a couple of days off. So in general, for people who have health problems, if they use the device to support their health, I always say to them, take the weekend off, take the Sunday off, because there's something about not just being focused on treatments and things. And the other thing is that the body gets a stimuli. So if I exercise, I need to relax and let the body rebuild muscles. A little bit like this with programs. You should let the programs work and let the body adjust. And I measured many times in the clinic, if I make a very short treatment, let's say 20 minutes, and I measure before and after, we can show this in a future webinar, the balance of the body is greatly increased. If I do 1 hour with my intention and my specific frequencies and measure them directly after, it looks chaotic. But if I measure them next morning, it looks wonderful. So this is just a hint to understand that more doesn't mean better. But for some people who have specific problems like chronic fatigue and are used to the frequencies, the experience is that very low voltage, and we should talk more about this in a future session about practical thing, low intensity, long programs helps them regain the energy and they feel better. So it's a big difference, for example, treating with high intensity, so you feel it a lot, and treating very low intensity. And it's different where you place the electrodes, if you put it on the body. So this will cover another time.
So the sensitive program, it also mentioned that for people that are sensitive to electrosmog or the man-made electromagnetic fields, it's suitable for them to run the sensitive program as well.
Absolutely. And if people are electrosensitive and afraid that they will react to getting a treatment, some people do. The first program they should run is sensitive, of course. And wait the next day, see how they feel. Nothing happens, okay. Run it again, nothing happens, okay. Start on the kidneys, normally. Of course, if you are sensitive or if you're afraid there is a lot of toxins in the body, make sure you're well hydrated. So in my clinic, when they come to me, the first thing I do, I give them purified water with hydrogen. And they drink. And the first thing I do after treatments, I give them purified water, hydrogen, and sometimes I give them a bunch of the vitamin C and other antioxidants to ensure they don't get a bad experience.
What's the percentage you say that you would say that the clients that come to your clinic are dehydrated?
Most people are having an incorrect balance of water inside outside. So we have a way of measuring biointestinal scan, we call it. We can measure the balance between the intracellular, extracellular water. So a lot of people are dehydrated because they drink all kind of coffee and sodas and things, and they don't drink enough clean water. And if you just think about this thing, if you're going to wash your car, would you wash your car with Coca-Cola? No, you would wash your car with clean water. And people, you cannot wash your body with Coca-Cola. Mm-hmm. Yes, a lot of people are dehydrated, but some people drink enough, but they don't have the energy to produce structured water, metabolic water properly. And that means that the water is mostly outside the cell, not inside the cell. So by increasing the energy and supplying necessary minerals and salts and so on, you can get the water into the cell. And so you can have enough water, but not enough water inside the cell.
Mm-hmm.
But many are dehydrated.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm not sure if you are aware that for the previous deep cycle programs, there is a 33 days plan that has been circulating around for almost like 2 years. Are you aware of such plans to use the programs suggestions, like a 33 days plan?
Nope.
So it's probably not created by you.
Not as I remember.
No? Okay. So for the deep cycle harmonics, is there any suggestive way that you have for us to run these programs? Like, for example, the circle that you showed us before in your slides, you start with the sensitive, you start with the kidney. Is there like a similar protocol?
This circle was just to kind of list all the programs. So it's just not the way you should do it or not should do it. So let's say you have to, the first thing that's important is people have to start trusting how they feel. You know, you have to trust how you feel. Let's say you are a person that are having issues in the bladder, kidney, sexual organs or something, or you have to go and pee very, very often. Okay, so it's an indication that your kidneys are struggling. Then the priority would probably be to start with the kidneys. But if your kidneys are struggling, it means your lungs will have to do more job. So you need to support it, right? But if your kidneys and lungs are struggling, it means your detoxification system needs support. So clean all. If you have something with your digestive system and you have a tendency of being stressed a lot, you will need digestol. So these 4 programs, kidney oil, breath of life, clean oil, digestol, normally is the basic foundation cycle. And that's why I said 4, 3, 2, 1. So let's say you are a kidney person, because I used to call people kidney person or lung person. So let's say you're a kidney person. That's often a person who is easily stressed, who sometimes has had some issues with sexuality, or any issues that's related below the kidneys. You know, everything is connected to the kidneys. They would typically start. The most important thing is to get the kidneys up. Drink the water, get the minerals, and you run kidney programs, let's say 4 times. Don't mean 4 times in one day. So it could be, for some people, they do 1 program each day. So let's say you do 4 days with kidney oil, and then you need to support the organ, which probably needs help too, is the lungs. So you do 3 times the lungs, 3 days, or if you run 2 in the program, you do 2 each one day and the next one day. But let's say you do 1 each day. And then depending on your digestive system and status, if the if there's something with digestive system and you're not all regular and so on, you should then do the digest all. That would be 2 times. And then the last, clean all. So we have 4, 3, 2, 1. So that would be the configuration for a kidney person.
Mm-hmm.
You see, if you have clear things with the lungs, if there is allergies, of course you implement the sensitive. So then you build up the protocol, for example, starting with the sensitive a few times just to elevate the symptoms and just calm down the body. And then you start with the breath of life 4 times, kidney all 3 times, digestive system, good or bad. If it's bad, digestive 2 times, clean all. If there's no big issue with the digestive, 2 times clean all, then 1 time digest all. And then you go back again. And remember, have some time off in the weekends because you need to relax, focus on different things, go out in nature and get the natural therapies.
In touch with nature, let the nature heal you as well.
Yeah, because that's what we want to do. The only thing we want to do with the frequencies or anything we do is to help nature work at its best.
Yes.
So we want to support the body. Think about the fact, about all the technology you look around, anything you know in the world. You can think it's very advanced that we're talking here, but think about the child being developed and born. It's the most fantastic, wonderful, amazing, complex thing we know. So nature knows everything. We just need to support it.
Mm-hmm. So it is okay to run more than 1 program a day?
Yes, you can do that. And but that's not how you start.
Mm-hmm.
And some people, if they had a lot of toxins and they really start to release things, maybe they need do 1 program, 2 days rest, 1 program, 2 days rest, like this.
Yeah, so you have to really observe your body to see what's going on and what's the reaction. Yeah,
the good thing after you run the first program, the next day you wake up, you look yourself in the mirror and say, how am I today? How do I feel? Do I feel anything change? And people, they expect to feel a change in the arm because they treated the pain or something, but think about it. How do I feel holistically? Because the miracle, well, I shouldn't use the word miracle, but the amazing thing is that it works on all of you. So sometimes people, I remember a woman who was very, very sick, serious disease, and we treated her for her wellness, of course, in a clinic. And she told me after a few months, and she came back to me and said, you know what's the most clear experience I have from your therapist? I said, no. And she said, I'm not afraid anymore. So her emotions changed, and the body then much easier could cope with the challenge because then she was not that stressed. And then she had a positive development. So frequencies are a part of us. We are frequency, we are vibration. So when you work on this level, you should observe all of you.
Mm-hmm. And to recap, from a holistic point of view, when we run these programs, we don't like to have a fixed protocols for everyone to use because every individual is very different. So we suggest, just like Jan just has suggested, you can run the 4, 3, 2, 1, like the protocols, depending on your condition and how your body is reacting, and continuously to observe yourself. But also not just run the program, but you should be combining the frequencies, the programs, as well with a healthy lifestyle, a good diet, good nutrition, and being active in your lifestyle. Try to be outdoor to connect with nature as much as possible. Is that right?
Absolutely. Okay. And you can add that, think of it as you give yourself a treat. You give yourself a treatment, and the treatment includes you giving yourself time to relax. I remember one of the things I learned from Uno some years ago, and I had been working 24 hours a day for a week, and I was traveling in another country and doing consulting work, working with an incredible team. But when I came home, I was so fatigued, so tired, my whole body kind of totally out of balance, and the kidneys were bananas. I had to go to the toilet every 5 minutes. So it's impossible to sleep. And I said to him, what am I going to do? What frequencies to run? Do you have any advice, my friend? Because, sometimes everybody needs advice. And you know what he said? He said, do nothing. Do nothing. What do you mean, said, do nothing? I can watch TV and read a book and say, no, do nothing. You mean do nothing? Yeah, do nothing. And that was a trick, because if you do nothing, and some people call it meditation, if you do nothing for a period of time, your mind and your body will automatically start to adjust and balance and find space to do it. So if you want to have an effective treatment, give yourself, lay down on the sofa, turn off the Wi-Fi, shut off the mobile after you start it, get some peace, and treat yourself. And say to yourself, now I'm treating me, now I'm supporting my kidneys with kidney oil. And the effect you will see it, it's marvelous. You will tell us about miracles, because you are a miracle and you can do anything. This will only support you.
Perfect. I'm just reading about the questions that I received now. We have 5 more minutes to answer.
Do we have a couple of yes/no questions, because it would be a little bit funny? Is there somebody having a yes/no question they would like to verify, like yourself? Because I saw you noted it.
Is it okay to use Deep Cycle with the coil? I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Healy coil. You know, is it okay to use it with the coil, or is it better with the bracelet?
Well, that was not a yes/no.
The first one
is it okay to use with the coil? Yes.
Okay, then is it better?
You right?
Is it better with the coil or with the bracelet? No. Is the bracelet better?
It's better with electrodes, because depending on what you're looking for. But the effects are stronger, and the frequencies, the microcurrents, are made for direct contact.
Direct contact, and the electrodes are more like whole body, like the currents is going through the whole body. Is that right?
Yeah, the current will always travel the shortest way, and this we'll do in the next time. We'll talk about currents, where it moves, how it moves, what frequencies, intensity, and where to place electrodes, because you can put electrodes on a body to have specific effects on specific areas.
And one question for you: do you want to come to Singapore?
Sure.
I think because Marcus is going to Singapore this month, so he was asking.
Oh, yeah, I'm not coming this month, but
not this month.
I'd like to visit Singapore sometime.
So we have collected so many questions, and unfortunately, because we are reaching almost 2 hours now, and there's still more than 400 participants online, thank you very much for your support and for your time. And we will be probably hosting a second webinar next time with more practical tips on how to use the Deep Cycle Harmonics programs, and also how we can perhaps have a more, instead of just the physical body or the health, maybe we can talk about the information field, or we can talk about how we can achieve abundance, not just health, but maybe financial, relationship-wise. Maybe.
It's not my field strongly, but what I like to do, Nest, at least, is to go through the possibilities of using electrodes to work on specific areas, and what's the difference between local electrodes and central electrodes, and more practical things about how it works and how you can utilize it better.
Thank you.
It was a pity we didn't have time to see my experiment, but I hopefully that some of you did have some yes and no answers, and possibly we covered some of them during the talk. So my experience is that when I did this experience with people, if they were capable of just accepting the answer like a lotto machine, they're always right. And this way I'm always right when I have my intuition, because I learned to trust it. So this you should learn to trust. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we'd like to say thank you to all the interpreters. Jeannie, we have Maria, we have Fancy, we have Amy. Thank you very much for helping with the interpretation. And lastly, I just want to point out for our members that if you want to find more information regarding the Deep Cycle Harmonics program, it's available in your back office. You can download the flyers. You can also download the user manual for more description regarding each programs. And also Deep Cycle Harmonics programs is available in the current Healy Professional and Healy Resonance Plus edition, which is right now at 45% off. It's a very good time if you're thinking about the special offer. Also, you'll be able to eligible to receive a free gold edition as well if you purchase before November 20th. And even more great news coming in November, there will be a Black Friday sale. If you currently do not have a Healy Professional yet, you'll be able to upgrade it at a very special price. So these are all the information that we would like to share with you today. Thank you so much for your participation. And we look forward to our next interview or next webinar with Jan. And thank you very much for everyone joining from around the world. I will now be just making the participants able to unmute themselves so that they can say thank you to Jan. Let me just see how I can do that right now. And yeah, do you have anything you'd like to add, Jan?
No, thanks for arranging it. And I didn't expect this to happen this way, but it was like everything in the universe. It comes when it's needed, and I've been thinking about it for a while. Should we do it now? And then suddenly you asked me, and I just said yes. I didn't know you, didn't know anything, but
I know.
I trusted you. I trust my intuition.
We put this all together in a very rushed time, like in about 10 days, it's all happened. We're so grateful. Yeah, fantastic. And you see, it's always wise to trust your intuition. So I trusted you, and I still do. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. And everybody, you can unmute yourself, say thank you to Jan and everybody.
Thank you,
Yes,
thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.